Good morning. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a video which has got a voiceover because my microphone wasn't working. So if you're wondering why the sound is out of sync with what I'm saying, it's because the mic wasn't connected to my phone, unfortunately. So yeah, this will probably be quite a quick video. I will just show more of the climbing and less of the talking, because obviously, as you can see, there's no audio from the footage, unfortunately. So I'll just go through what I was thinking, obviously, when I was there, and yeah, show some of the climbs. I mentioned kind of the key points on those climbs, but yeah, this one should be a bit shorter and sharper because there's no audio, unfortunately. So apologies for that in advance, but I hope you enjoy the video anyway. Okay, it's been a strong start to the session so far. Done about 3 climbs, I think it is, and feeling very slow and clunky and inflexible and immobile. So, not a fantastic start, but it's one of those days, so we'll warm up into it. Just going to move on to V4 now. It's the blue one in here. Starts with 2 hands on the volume, so it'll be both hands on this hold. There's a foot hold down here, up to a gas donny hold on this, and then the hands through to here, and the foot up to here. To top hold up here. There's on the blue, it's difficult to see. Yeah, should be quite straightforward, and hopefully it will extend my legs a bit more and get the body moving and more flexible. We'll see. Now I can't remember exactly what I was saying here because the audio is captured through my phone rather than the mic. It's difficult to hear what I'm saying, but I believe I'm saying that obviously the 2 holds are very side pulling to the left, so that's where I want to position my body, but there's not many footholds to use to get in that position. The side pull and the volume itself is more of a hand hold. You can't really push off of it in the opposite direction with your foot. You could heel hook it, but you can't push off in the other direction. So what I ended up deciding to do was using the volume to push with an opposite force to the hold where my left hand is currently, and that's how I ended up climbing up the route. Not sure if this is how it's meant to be done. It felt a little bit awkward, but I couldn't see any other options anyway, so that's the way that I sent it in the end. I'm going to move on to another slab, a V5 Wasp this time. Starts with one hand on this hold, which is pretty decent, and then one hand on this other, also a decent hold. Pretty large, pretty in-cut. There's a high foot here on the left, right below that hold, and a much lower foot down there. And then it uses these horrible slopey holds all the way up the rest. The top up there. So yeah, as I know, with these kind of holds you'll be very well positioned with your body to hold onto the wall on this. So after a 5-minute hay fever fueled sneezing fit, I decided to read the route and essentially was very happy with myself because the way I read it was exactly the way it was set and exactly the way I climbed it. Didn't really change anything. The way I saw the route to be climbed was how I climbed it in the end as well. So yeah, I was really happy with this one. It's quite a cool set, quite a soft V5 I do think, but yeah, it's a cool route, a lot of good body positioning involved to make sure you don't come off the walls, and yeah, it was a fun route to climb, so hope you enjoy watching it. Okay, I'm going to jump into something a bit more physical now. I'm going to try this black V6. Very slopey starting holds, not a load to grip onto on these. And there's no feet, it's just this volume. There's a high foot to begin with. And then it comes up to another slopey hold in here, which I need to stand up quite high into. So I can come up with the right hand to this crimp and then the left hand to that one. And we finish matching the top hold up there. I'm not sure you can really see on the camera, but it's very, very slopey. I think matching that is going to be so hard. There's no holes on this side, it's completely balanced on the wall. So I'm going to have to utilise maybe a heel in this hold, possibly, to keep myself balanced to match that hold at the end. So this is going to be tough, but we'll see how we go on. Now here, there's not much I'm really saying other than how slopey that last hole is. I did read it this way, I knew the last hole was rubbish, but when you actually get there and feel it, the last hole is terrible. So really was struggling to find out what body position to get in to match the last hole. It was fine with one hand on the last and the left hand on the crimp, which is the second last hole. But finding a way to release the crimp, there was a lot of force going through my left hand. I never felt at any stage like I could release that. So yeah, very tricky to match that. This is me still trying to figure out how I was going to do that. Different body positions that I could use on the wall. Essentially what I'm saying is, yeah, trying to figure out how to match that last hold there. Now, quite funnily and quite typically, and what happens relatively often in climbing, is that I forgot how to do the earlier move. I wasn't getting my tension right through the foot and my body, and I wasn't shifting my weight into the right places. So I fell off the first move quite a few times here. So I essentially wasn't pushing hard enough with the left foot, and it was also a little bit too far to the right, I believe. When I sent it on this go, I moved it further to the left, which gave me a bit of a better angle to push off from, and allowed me to go up. And from here, yeah, similar story. I couldn't actually hold the last hold on this attempt, so I came back down. Had another go though shortly after and got back up to the top, but once again was unable to figure out how to match the last hold. So that really was the crux of the boulder. The rest of it was okay. The start's relatively tricky to establish on the wall. This sequence up to the crimps, certainly for my style, crimpy holds, I found relatively easy. But yeah, matching this last hold was just a nightmare. Very, very tough. Tried all sorts of heels, toes, different body positionings, thought about a drop knee, but yeah, never really had enough on the right hand to release the tension through the left and match. So yeah, I know a lot of other people struggling with the same move. It's very tough at the gym, but I have seen it done with a little toe hook by somebody else, so I'll probably give this one another go another day. But yeah, very, very tough finish. I never got this one on the day, unfortunately. So I decided to move on to a V4 white that is right next to the V6. So it's the white one on the prow that you can see that I'm pointing at now. The hold's going up to there. It's quite a technical boulder. Nice little set. It's a very a slightly overhung wall, more so than it looks like from this camera angle. But yeah, it was a good little challenge, fun little route, and yeah, this is how I sense it. So what I'm saying here, essentially, other than the fact that I was enjoying the route itself, is that I kind of messed up a little bit of the section where I cut feet. You can't see the hole there because the guy stood in the way, but yeah, I did cut feet a little bit on the route, which I was slightly disappointed with. So I went to send the boulder again soon afterwards, and that's what's filmed here, just to try and clean up the section coming up to the holes that I'm pointing at here. So the lower hole there on my hand was okay, but moving up to the two above that wasn't as clean as it could have been, so I tried to tidy that up a bit more on this attempt. Okay, I'm going to move into what I think I'm going to make my new project now. It is a V6 in the cave in here. So I started 2 hands on this nice hole, relatively well in cut, and then there's a foot down here and a high foot right by the hand here. Holds here. You can also use this volume as well, relatively in cut, and then there's a hand back here. There's a big move from there up to this hand, which is relatively slopey crimp, and then you can also utilise the volume on this side as well. It's a very big move up to these holes here, and you can use a foot a little bit later on to get up to what looks like a slopey hole and a very slopey last hole as well. So yeah, this is probably going to be a project of mine. Like I say, I had a couple of goes the other day off the camera, but yeah, I'm going to give it a go today again and see what I can do on it. So as I explained, I then moved on to what is my project, my current project, which is this V6. Now, when I first tried this, all the moves felt so hard. The first couple, as you can see, I did okay, but this move here is quite a big move. You're a long way low of the hold you're throwing for. So to begin with, I was just trying to figure out what body position to get into to throw it to where my right hand went, just there on that chalky hold. So it took me quite a few attempts to figure this out, to figure out what body position to be in, where to position my left foot, where to position my right foot. The right foot's in the right place, but it's essentially my knee's in the wrong angle. So I wanted to make a drop knee in this position to get my hips a bit closer to the hold I'm throwing for, which we'll see a little bit later on. I end up finding the right position to do that. But it did take me a little while to figure out. A lot of thought, a lot of processing. I think I watched the footage back a few times as well, just to see what body positions I was in and get a better understanding of how to go for the hold. But you'll notice on all those attempts my right knee was turned out from the wall. I'm not sure if it's this attempt or possibly one a little bit later on. I dropped my knee in. It is this attempt. There you go. You can see I turned my knee to the left there, allowing me to throw up to the right hand, which felt a lot more comfortable. I felt a lot closer to the hold. Now my foot cut off every time I attempted that on this day, I do believe. However, I have tried this since then and I've stuck that move. So hopefully I'll be able to send this project soon. I am working on it. Been doing a lot of climbing, a lot of training. But yeah, you can see that I now get the technique here where I drop my knee in more, and you can see I'm a bit closer to it on that attempt there. So that's what happened with this one. I ended up making a little bit of progress on this day. And figuring out that move a little bit more closely. There'll be a few more videos that involve this boulder for sure. This is my project currently, so you'll see more of this one in the future. There's a lot of cool moves, but yeah, on this day I did end the video here. I was pretty pumped from some of the slopey holds that I climbed on earlier in the day, and just this boulder itself is extremely physical, so very draining. So after a little while I did retire this one for the day. So this is me explaining that, saying that I'm going to come back for it and film it on other days where my microphone is working, you'll be glad to hear. So yeah, there's more footage of this one to come, but essentially this is the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologise once again for the lack of audio, but yeah, nice and short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, as always, make sure you grab life by the plums, and I'll see you in the next one.